Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rafegal. We're playing some more Dead Cells. This is our second run. Technically third. Second video, third run. Frostbomb. Our goal, again, is going to be to get to the toxic sewer so that we can unlock the next power, which is the teleportation rune. As always, our goal is to get into level 2 in less than 2 minutes. In this case, part of that goal is in this case, actually, we've got plenty of time. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit here and just watch my time closely, just to see if we can get something. There we go. At least one scroll of power. Electric Whip was actually my first go-to weapon when I was playing the game, so we'll give that a shot here. It's not great compared to some of the other weapons I've been using, but I like the fact that it has a little bit of reach and flexibility. And hey, we got Frost Blast, which is my favorite power. So we're actually setting up really well currently. I think we actually have enough to finish Frostbite, so I will be able to enable that here. And I'm gonna start pumping points into Flint as the next option. So the really neat part with Electric Whip is that it ignores shields. So Frostbite. By the way, did not actually get hit during that, so we're kind of on track for that 30-second, or for the 30 kills, but we didn't get enough kills. I actually don't know how many we got. So you can see right away, we have a lot better protection. We can keep our distance. With the lightning, and the freeze effect is very powerful. And anything that does survive is still remains slowed for a brief time, which, because of the Frostbite power, the slow is both slow and damage over time. Neat thing with Electric Whip is if you hit enemies while they're in water, it will electrocute the water. So, actually, I was gonna go green, but actually with all this stuff we've got, we could go purple here. That'll work with both the weapon and the powers. We can also kind of mix and match for now until we get further. There you are. My rune's just a little bit further. But nothing to worry about. Off you go. Oops. And there's the teleportation rune. So you've seen these little sarcophagus guys around a couple times at this point. These just let you teleport from one to the other. Again, much like the vines, it's a power that lets you access a new area more than a movement power. Unfortunately, that's the one thing I don't like as much with this particular game, is only the spider climb gives you that flexibility that you would want from a Metroidvania power. Electric Whip 1 to Electric Whip 3. Ideally, what we're going to want is to get Electric Whip that gives you bonus damage to frozen targets. So we definitely are going to want to still upgrade our green, because green is the rune, or not the rune, the I guess we just upgrade to Ice Bomb 2, Ice Grenade 2, whatever. Saw your fight. It was pretty impressive. Did you get it? Yeah. Excellent. Now give it to me. No. I said give it to me. I knew it. You're just like all the rest. You'll regret this. I don't think I will, but that's okay. I have yet to regret it. We're going to continue getting damage here. Our next target would potentially be eight minutes, so we should be good. Actually, it is 8 minutes and we are good. So I guess we're gonna do this guy. Yeah, we didn't make it without getting hit. Rapier inflicts critical hits after rolls or parries. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. Not gonna take precedence over some of the other stuff we've got here, but is neat. I think, given the fact that we've got 35, we're gonna do this. and bump our gold reserve up. Oh, we have to spend all of it. This one's decent. I think I'm just gonna keep going with flint though. It's a neat weapon. And it's green, which I generally appreciate. Okay, so we can spend 2,000, almost 3,000 to upgrade this to a Electric Whip 3 Plus. That gives it an additional modifier and a little more damage. Extra damage against bleeding. No. Extra damage when you're at max HP. Shoot an arrow in front of you. Sure, whatever. At this point, we're probably not going to get what we want, but it's worth trying. And I think we're going to upgrade our ice grenade. We don't really have a good second option yet. I guess we could do ammo. Oh wait, no, ammo does not work with the ice powers. So I guess we're just gonna go back to combo. Simple. It helps us move quickly through stages. And if we get, if we put a dot in red, it will help. Even more. So we're back to the Ramparts. We did get the teleportation, so now we actually have access to different areas here. I can't remember offhand. Actually, no, it might not be that we have different access to different areas now. By the way, you can see these little runes. That's the down smash. You have to unlock the upgraded version of that to continue. Of course, there's an ice grenade 4 right there. Sure. We just spent money to upgrade it, which is kind of annoying. So right off the bat, we actually got something here with the teleport. Even if it's not something that gives you like new progression or something like that, all of the power-ups you can give you different items, which is also, or which is still neat. We'll warp back up. I'm keeping the L2 option I have right now because it is just a really powerful weapon or option to be able to give yourself another way to heal and to give yourself an invulnerability period. Come on. There we go. Once again, this area is not nearly as restrictive with timing. The store is locked. We have to find a switch for it. I think we're gonna go with one boost to red. Mixing and matching like that gives you more HP, but less damage but less damage overall, or less focus damage. But because we have that one rune, or not rune, I keep saying rune, mutation, it's going to give us a lot of power. By the way, you may be wondering why I don't use the grenade. Part of it is just because I don't think about it offhand. Part of it is because it is because it has that cooldown. Yes. We'll switch for that, sure. Part of it is because it has the cooldown, and I want to make sure I've got access to it when there is a large group of enemies, or an enemy that I need to get access to from further away. Part of it... By the way, that 30 gold that I just got is because I switched amulets. The amulet I'm currently wearing is whenever you get a sell, you get money out of it as well. So, in order to get progression here, we'd need the down smash upgrade again. That'll be our third run. You need the teleportation rune in order to get to it. Okay. So I think we're gonna go purple again. It's another 30 damage tacked on top of our existing when we've got our sword rune going. Extra damage on our slow. It might not seem like we're using the slow effect a lot. That's partially because we're still low enough in the, or early enough in the game that the enemies mostly go down in one hit when we're on a roll. When there's large groups of enemies, or if we get some of the other bonuses though, that can be really beneficial. I still don't know how to get that key. None of these are really... I mean, Tonic 5 is okay. I kind of want to spend my money upgrading stuff, though. So I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Continue progressing. We're actually getting close to the 15-minute mark, so depending on how fast or how long the boss takes, could be a problem. We do want to make sure we get to the boss in time, or we want to make sure we clear the boss in that time so that we can get the 20 extra cells. Which, by the way, that second run I did on my first video, even though we did die pretty quickly, getting that boost that we did is really nice. So we want to upgrade our grenade. There we go. That's one of the really good ones. Slowdown after thaw spreads to nearby enemies. So what that means is if the enemies are in a slow mode for a few seconds after they unfreeze. So this one makes it so the slow takes twice as long. This one says that nearby enemies will also start to spread it. And what that does is really neat. It means that as we are fighting multiple, if we're in areas where we're fighting multiple small enemies, like in the Stilt village, when they throw like the little worm enemies at you, with Frostbite, all of those enemies are going to spread slow to each other, which will then also do damage over time. And it can become cyclical, where they just stay slowed perpetually, which is really powerful. That slow is also partially for bosses, because, I mean, last time the way I beat that boss was... That was not what I was trying to do. So, he's currently resisting slow, which is annoying because that's our damage over time source. But the freeze at least gives us some mobility. Lets us wait out the annoying powers. Just gonna real quick pop a health potion. There we go. Concierge down. We get the classic concierge outfit. Frost plus 3, which we already have a 4 plus, so we'll just sell that. Sell our infantry grenade. And continue to Stilt Village. It says Stilt Village or Slumbering Sanctuary. That's because the second one, the Slumbering Sanctuary, requires you to have a specific requires the 4th rune. So I'm actually going to use a little trick here. So since I'm on purple this run, I don't want this flint weapon. Flint's a neat weapon, but it's not actually what I want for this run specifically. So I'm going to leave it at 1 so that I can later spend 1 to unlock it when I'm on a green run and just get that weapon upgrade for free, effectively. Okay, 25, so we get to start something new, or we can go back here and get a chance for our items to be plus quality, which I think is what we're gonna do. I think it might just be 25, yeah, to get the first 5%. So at this point, we'd have to unlock or we'd have to pay to reset mutations. So if you can see down here, you need the spider climb, so wall climb ability to get to the Slumbering Sanctuary. So we have to go to Stilt Village. This is all the part of the run to get teleport, so it's actually not a big deal at this point if we die. Obviously, we would prefer to get further. Lets us unlock more. So these little worm enemies that they throw at you are actually really nice with this build because the spreading of the slow effect can be really powerful. Also, you can already see how much faster this is going with the freeze compared to the shield that I was using before. Frost Blast is by far my favorite power for that reason. It's a lot safer. I just realized that this is take you back to entrance, not exit, or not. Okay, so I think we want purple at this point. Oops. Use the yeah, we'll do that. You can see there, just use the health tonic that gives us invulnerability for a short time, which is really convenient. So down here, it looks like this is the shop. I think this one's the food shop. Yes. So you can just buy health, effectively. We're okay for now. We've still got 2 potions. Use our village key. We need to now make our way Heart of Ice. I actually don't know what that one does offhand. Oh, is that the... I think there's one that, like... Whoa. It's not our shop, which is not what we're looking for, but I'll step out of the awful for a second. So these little spots that are in lighter blue give you little lore. The treatment administered to the latest volunteers seems to be producing results. They are still coughing, but they are vomiting much less. Or less blood anyway. Am I on the right track? Much like Hollow Knight, we haven't gotten any solid lore on this. There was some sort of plague, and from what I can tell, the experimentation is what actually results in the mutation, not the plague itself, although it's hard to tell. You can be infected by the malaise. This is one of my favorite little things. You have to roll through and then use your second jump to bounce. Okay, so we need a key, which must be over here. There it is. We're gonna go there. Okay, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. that kind of situation is why we have grenades. Okay, so we have two options at this point. We can either go to the right here, or we can go down. I think I want to go to the... I think this is the choked estuary, and the other one is the clock tower. I think I actually want to go to the clock tower, or the choked estuary, rather. It's a really neat area, and I actually don't mind the enemies there too much. The clock tower has some really annoying enemies. So this one does require the teleportation. Then you can get to the village key. And go over here to get to the... Oh, Forgotten Sepulcher, sorry. This is a really cool area. Forgotten Sepulcher is... Oh hey, we got plenty of time here. 26 minutes and we're only at 18. That probably means we're going too fast. So we've got a couple options here. Another ice grenade upgrade, 7. Yeah, we want that. I think. Double slowdown after thaw and bleeding after thaw. Yeah, we'll do that. We lose our spread, but it didn't seem like it was doing as much as I was expecting anyway. Melee attack against... yeah, that one. So this is another good option for what we're looking at for this build that I enjoy. Slowed, frozen, and immobilized enemies are the things that ice does, and this will reduce skill cooldown so we can do our grenades and stuff more often. Okay, so we can upgrade these to ++. I think I'm gonna upgrade Frost Blast. Victims burn when they die. And 30 damage to burning targets. Sure. We're probably gonna have to replace our electric whip soon. Being only a 3 at this point in the game is not great. Luckily, we have lots of ways to buff that damage. So the Forgotten Sepulcher is really neat. So this is the anomaly she's looking for. You've come a long way down beneath the surface, fallen one. Dark is the path you've chosen. Light of the guardian monoliths will guide you, but for how long? So the light keeps back the haze. And we can light these torches as we go. But as you can, as you'll see, as we progress, the longer we are outside of a torch, the smaller the radius around us gets, and we will eventually start taking damage. So we have an additional timed aspect to this one where we will just start taking damage if we don't move quickly. I am not sure what just happened there, but I just like phased through several sets of spikes without taking damage. So the crypt key there is where we're trying to get. These guys are annoying, but could be worse. At this point, I think we're gonna do one more survival to get our skill boosts. That was 2 teleporters on the same, like, right next to each other. crypt key. So, because this requires the teleporter little mummies to get to, they can put that as a requirement throughout the level as well, which is really neat. We haven't been down here yet, so... oh, it looks like it's going to require the spider rune. You can see that pattern to it. Almost all the ones that require the spider rune have the same design. Like that. That was a panic grenade. So we're taking damage right now. We need to find a torch. There we go. So I used the grenade there because there was an enemy behind me, so I wanted that splash AoE. Okay, we're gonna activate this rune to get a challenge rift. Challenge rifts are kind of neat. You've stumbled through a rift. Bet you'd like to take these little beauties with you. Well, if you decide to take them, getting out won't be anything like getting in. So I actually really like these rooms. Basically, you have the choice. Oh, I'm very glad I did, because this, Crow's Foot, is the last part of my build that I normally do. Yeah, I'll sell that, and we get this for yet another purple. So these rooms are really neat. Lots of little jumping puzzles. Lots of spikes. And the little ball and chains. And then you're out. That item up there was a reciprocal special item, so it gives you an advantage and a disadvantage. Oh. So I don't think we need any of these. We're continuing to explore here because you eventually need 2 crypt keys. So we've got the access to the one up here. Oh no, we already did. Although, wait a minute, we missed a scroll over here. I love the map. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna need another. This is a grappling hook. We're gonna recycle it because it looks like it has some sort of disadvantage associated with it as well. So this stage is kind of a neat, like, teleporter maze, which I'm not always the biggest fan of in games, but it's simple enough that it's not something that drives me crazy, and it's actually really intuitive. See if I can break my curse on the spiked shield. The first 2 times I got the spiked shield item, I had to, or I died and had to redo it. If you haven't turned in a blueprint, you don't get to keep it. So you lose all the cells you've collected, and extra damage on frozen. Blah, 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 blah. So there's the second door. We just need to find the key to go with it. The electric whip is really nice for enemies like these bats, specifically, because most of the time you don't get most of the time you don't get weapons that can hit overhead like that, but since it tracks to the nearest enemy, it becomes a really good way to kill those enemies that you might be lacking with some of the heavy weapons that I normally use, like the hammer that I was using on my first run. Let's go for damage at this point. What? No, that's not better. Wow. Oh, it's because I'm purple. Duh. I'm not sure why that one's not lighting. It's kind of weird. Okay, so we're clearly missing something. Must be this way and down. Extra 15% damage. And there's our crypt key. Unfortunately, I don't think there's actually a teleporter near where we're taking it, so I'm not sure if there's actually a better way to get out or not. That was bad. So unfortunately, moving through this area with no enemies also means that we don't get... Oh man. There were torches here the first time. I guess those other ones must be temporary or something? I've never noticed it before, but I've never had an issue with it like this before either. So that's the clock room. I'm curious what's down here. It looks unpleasant. Two extra crypt keys, which gives us... Oh, it's the rune for this area. Okay. Glad we did that. This one's not a progressive, but it is... so this reveals the whole map once you get to a certain point. So basically, once you've unlocked most of the map, it'll give you the rest of it. So you don't have to spend nearly as long looking for that last little bit. Clock room. This is going to be our first time getting to the second boss. We have 70 runes here. So I think we're going to go ahead and go crow's foot. Rolling leaves 3 crow's foot or caltrops behind you, which will do damage and slow enemies. Are you sensing a theme? Heart of Ice. Unfortunately, I don't have another great option right now, so I think we're just gonna start on... Oh, we need one more item unlocked to get gold reserve. I think I'm just gonna take or do the sandals quick. Or to get health plus 3 rather. So what I was talking about with the with that cursed item or the reciprocal item I mentioned earlier, we'll see here. Once you or every 4 enemies you kill, you enter a state where you do 300% damage on enemies, but you also take 300% damage. I don't trust myself enough for that. I guess we do the plus. We've got the money for it. And we don't have arrows, so we don't care about that. Enemies hit by this will thaw more slowly. Yes, that one. Okay, so we're gonna reset our mutations. We're gonna do crow's foot, frostbite, heart of ice. This isn't exactly the one I've been using, but it's close. Instead of Heart of Ice, I've been using one that is every time you do a melee hit, it also slows enemies. So this, all of this with Frostbite kind of just adds together and gives you this constant slow on enemies, which is just perpetual DPS. Okay, time to fight the Clock Keeper, Timekeeper. I'm good at this. So trying to, okay, second phase. That means we're at half health. So the big trick I've basically come to with the Timekeeper is to try and freeze when or use your tonic whenever you get hit with the grappling hook. And we got the kill with residual damage. So once again, that damage over time is really, really good. Amethyst. Okay, we got light speed as a blueprint, which is neat power. It's not my favorite, but it's neat. And let's see, malachite. And we don't want this infantry grenade for the same reason as the other stuff. It's reciprocal, where you take more damage. First time getting to High Peak Castle. So High Peak Castle is really neat. In order to open this door, you have to beat the boss without taking damage. So we've got a full 20 cells. I think we're just going to start pumping that into our third health flask. Health flasks are good. I haven't really had it come up as much in this run because I'm starting to get... because I've been playing this game a lot recently. Let's be fair. Okay. The king allowed the alchemist to move into a wing of the castle. That was the time of the final retreat. Apparently we're going right into shop. So this is a really cool level. This is the one that feels the most Metroidvania-ish. You have a big castle area to explore. Inside it, there are 3 doors with different colors. This is not going to be even close to good enough. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'd take just a different electric whip. So yeah, there's 3 different doors that each take you into a side room. Each of those gives you a castle key. You need 2 castle keys to actually make it to the boss, or you can get a 3rd castle key to get special items as well. I guess we keep going on this side. We're not even using red for anything at this point, so we've just got it for the health increase. Lay's crossbreeding produced no results. The extracts administered to the volunteer produced a shapeless monstrosity, half man, half plant. The subject failed to survive. So I think the implication is supposed to be that you're one of these, or this like experiment. That's why you're like immune to the disease. There's lots of really neat enemies throughout this. I will try and prevent you from actually seeing any of them do cool things because they hurt. Upgraded version of the archer from the beginning. The spear guys can do up and down, the sword guys do like a tornado spin. You saw the guy ground pound earlier, I believe. Most of these doors have a portal next to them, so I try and hit the portal because when you go through this door, we're going to come out in a different location. Little purple worms are getting spawned by one of our items. I can't remember which one offhand. Ice grenade, looks like. Biters spawn from the dead. Each of the keys is guarded by a boss. totally just stood there and watched that bomb go off. So the bomb guys work similar to the other one, or the ones from before, except for they do like a cluster bomb effect. That thing is really scary. I a lot of times reserve my grenade for those. You know, that grenade that wasn't actually ready to use. Okay, so we've kind of come back around here. And apparently I missed a scroll up here. That's not good. We need scrolls. Scrolls are important. Scrolls are health and damage. Although we're actually really high health right now, so compared to some of the runs I've done. Okay, so I think we may be going the wrong way. Because there's a red door up from the screen door. Actually, I know how we can do this. So I'm actually going to go back down here and go down first. Oh, hey, there's the exit to the red door anyway. So we got lucky. How close is that to the... That's close enough to a teleporter. We only need 2 to get through. I mean, it'd be kind of nice, but considering where we're at, like, we actually have, like, a really good setup right now. I mean, downside, and actually one of the biggest problems I've run into, is that the last boss totally doesn't actually get a lot of options when it comes, or is largely immune to ice. So if you use ice powers while enemies are in the water, it freezes them in place. So we are currently going through and electrocuting that enemy while they are also stuck in frozen water, while they are also taking damage over time from being slowed. Okay. So I actually want to go this way. There's an elite, which could be nice. Usually gives some good rewards. New amulet. It's about the same. Oh, 10% damage decrease. Yeah, we'll take that. Okay. So we actually want to go... I'm not sure which way is going to be better. I guess let's go up. If we can. There's our blue door. Nice. And there is... Okay, so that's the way out. I'm gonna go ahead and get the blue door, because if we get their third key, we can get the rewards. That's the ground pound enemy I mentioned earlier. We've run into a couple of them. there's our boss, the slasher. So that was our first time getting infected. I actually haven't really seen what that does yet. Like, I haven't actually seen any negatives from it, but I've never gotten more than, you know, a few notches on it. I've heard it mentioned in, or I've seen it mentioned in some of the mutations, especially. So we're just gonna come straight back over here. Each of the entrances and exits of these have a linked portal. And that way we can go through these two, and then over here to get this last boost. Which I think at this point we just want damage. 15, that's really good. 15 seems high. Okay, so passage to the throne room. This is basically all the marbles. We're gonna spend our 60 on, I guess, just health flask. Just put it in there, into the health flask fund. Is that seriously just a tonic 1? Okay. So I guess we'll upgrade this to plus so we get something. Increase to movement speed is okay. I can dig that. I think all of these are fine, though. Like, I hate to have quite so much money just sitting around here. That's a lot of money. I mean, I guess we could sit here and roll on, yeah, we could roll our whip a few times just to see what happens. Launches a grenade, victim's remains explode. See, a lot of these aren't actually good. There we go. Extra damage to frozen target. A lot of these aren't good because against bosses, because bosses don't die. This boss does have a few things, like enemies that it spawns with it. By the way, there's a decent chance we are not going to make it through this. So the Hand of the King is going to put a protective barrier around the king, and then mostly trying right now not to get knocked into the spikes. And so he's going to trigger a couple times where there are going to be random enemies generated here. We want to take, or he comes back after the elite one. Ugh. I've only successfully beaten this boss twice, so... Still got a lot to work on with this, I think. Although I usually don't have the electric whip, which is actually a lot more flexible than some of the weapons that I've been using. So he continues to move faster. He's going to start resisting our slows, which means we're going to do less damage because that's our, one of our main sources of damage. Ugh. Yeah. Like, I might have been able to pull that off. We had a decent setup, but that boss is just very difficult, and at this point, if I had one more health potion, we would have been fine. Like, that's really where we're at. And quite frankly, the last time, or the times I've beaten that, I've had, I think, 4 health potions. So, yeah. The fact that we're getting to that, or getting that far on our 3rd run feels pretty good. So, I think we're gonna actually go ahead and just immediately wrap here. As I said, we're trying to go through and unlock all of the various powers. The next one we're gonna get is the downward slam, or the ram rune. Which involves going back through the promenade instead of through the toxic sewers this time. So back to the first area that we went through, except for this time, because we have the teleporter, we can take an alternate route. Find an alternate exit, which is really neat. Again, lots of cool backtracking, even though you're not actually backtracking, even though it's like semi-linear backtracking, where you have to start over from the beginning each time you backtrack. I love that as a kind of a twist on the Metroidvania formula. This one in particular, or this game in particular, has even a little bit more of that than like something like Hades. Hades gives you power-ups for yourself, but this is a really unique way of gaining progression where you actually can access new things in other areas as you go, which I like. So, hopefully you're still enjoying. If you are, please give me a like and subscribe. Check out the other content on my channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. And as always,